I think it was particularly important the Port of Dover issued some press releases yesterday, making clear that their responsibility in dealing with this situation. I agree with them. I think the situation which has been there is unacceptable. I don't want to see kids on coaches or families in cars queuing up and waiting unnecessarily long periods of time.
Who should be apologising for that?
Well, I think it's been the Port of Dover have made it very clear that there was a difficult situation there, that there was some weather-related issues in the channel.
And this guy's supposed to be the Transport Minister. It wasn't just weather-related issues in the channel, and he knows it. Let's not forget there were delays at Dover last year, and at the time the port said this.
We are in a post-Brexit environment, which means the transaction times through the borders are going to take longer because the passports need to be checked, they need to be stamped, etc.
The Transport Minister is just closing his eyes, sticking his fingers in his ears and going la 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 in the same way the Home Secretary is. After telling viewers this,
we need to tell the truth.
The Home Secretary then followed it up with this.
No, I don't think that's fair to say this has been an adverse effect of Brexit.
How many times do I have to point this out? By now, even Larry the Cat knows that because of the hard Brexit inflicted on the country by the Conservative government, millions of UK citizens have been robbed of freedom of movement between and within member countries of the EU. His former Home Secretary Priti Patel delivering the good news to an ecstatic Tory party conference.
I have a particular responsibility when it comes to taking back control. It is to end the free movement of people once and for all.
Because of the hard Brexit championed by the government, it now takes longer for British citizens to be processed at immigration points. That's because the government itself has asked for us to be treated as third country nationals and asked for us to be subjected to tougher checks. It means the government itself has inflicted additional delays on UK travellers. In fact, ending freedom of movement for millions of UK citizens has actually made it harder for us to leave our own country, as travel expert Simon Calder explains.
The big problem with coaches is that, well, as you will know, after Brexit, we asked for tougher checks. So when you turn up at Dover, previously you just sort of waved the passport out of the window and that would be fine. Now we asked to be treated as third country nationals. So an officer is supposed to go through the passport, checking all your stamps. They then need to stamp the passport themselves, and that takes much, much longer than it did previously. Multiply that by 50 or 60 people on board a coach and you get delays. And there is nothing in the short term that is going to change that, I'm afraid.
Ever get the impression this government is taking us all for fools? Here's more from travel expert Simon Calder.
We asked after Brexit, the democratic vote to leave the European Union, we said we want an EU hard border in Kent. In fact, we got two. We got one at Dover and another one along the coast at Folkestone. So that was something that we asked for. We then said we want to be treated as third country nationals with all the stamping that goes with it. And anybody who knows Dover, and we've seen some of the pictures there, will know it's very, very constrained. It's beneath the White Cliffs of Dover. It was never built on the basis that we would need to have these rigorous checks.
Imagine the Transport Minister's shock when he finds out it's going to get much worse.
I'm afraid things are only going to get worse because coming along, possibly by the end of the year, probably actually 2024, is again something else we know about because we were involved in developing it, the entry-exit system for the EU. So everyone in those cars, on those coaches, is going to have to be fingerprinted and have a facial biometric taken. So the longer-term solution is simply going to be to do exactly what they've done at London St Pancras International Rail Station, Eurostar trains. They have cut the capacity. So there are simply hundreds of empty seats leaving on every train in the morning from London St Pancras because there is not physically space to process the passengers. And I think we will see something similar at Dover. We will see either mandatory controls on the number of coaches and in summer on the number of cars, or it will be a kind of informal thing that will be regulated by the port. But it's a grim old situation.
What else would we expect from a Transport Minister who says this?
You say, I'm proud to have got Brexit done. I now look forward to the future to build a truly global Britain. What are the 3 best achievements since getting Brexit done, would you say, Minister? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Well, I'd say from the start, the biggest impact we've seen over the last couple of years is probably the Britain's ability to fulfil its own vaccine programme.
Well, you'll be aware, of course, the independent website Full Fact say that's not true, and even the boss of our own MHRA, Dr. June Rain, has also said that's not true. So,
well, we could have
can we
done
strike that one out?
You're absolutely right.